quick strike, you may lead.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Royalty? Why was I not chosen?
Because, Inferno, when expecting booby traps, always send a boob in first.
Too much energy.
Maximize!
Alert. Quantum surge detected. Vector 597.
Oh, no! Not that! Ah!
Greetings, Cyber Raptors, and welcome to episode 39 of Too Much Energon, the Lasercomb podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am your other host, NeoCal.
What's going on this week, Cal?
Oh, getting some good news and some bad news and everything in between.
Yeah.
Confirmed my appointment for my Microsoft microchip injection. Can't wait.
Your Microsoft Pfizer
Yeah.
or Moderna, one or the other.
I'm hoping will turn me into Dolph Lundgren super soldier.
Yep. Sorry, you're gonna have to settle for being Van Damme from Universal Soldier.
I can live with that.
What a step down, right?
Yeah. Oh man. Too bad.
So back in I think it was 2017, there was this Amazon series. It only lasted 6 episodes, but it was called Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it stars Van Damme as a very fictional version of himself, but it turns out that basically throughout his entire career, all of the movies that he was doing were just a cover for him being a CIA operative, being on ops.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great. The show gets the show has a very tongue-in-cheek tone to it.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned that to me before.
I might have, yeah. It's pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. And it's only 6 episodes, so it's pretty easy to watch.
What is it called?
Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my appointment to go get my my shots.
Nice. Everybody's getting shots.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly they rolled that out too, because for months now it's been only people over the age of 75. And then it slowly crept down, and it kind of just hung at I feel like it hovered around 50 people, 50 or 55 plus for months.
It's almost like most of the population are boomers. Because they are, right? Most of Canada's population is in that age range.
Mm.
So it makes sense, right?
The greatest generation.
Yep.
Unless it's not what Twitter would have you believe, mind you, but
What? They built this country. They built this country on rock and roll. Or did they?
They built this country on
Indian burial grounds.
crushing the dreams of others. They built this country on oppression and privilege. Whoa!
Yeah. Some would have you believe. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Getting my shot next week. finally. I'm looking forward to it because
Soon you'll be able to go and interact with the public again.
yes, like not, because I haven't been doing that constantly throughout all of
No,
this for the past like over a year now.
of course
Working
not.
at a grocery store.
Nope.
Working at a grocery store where all of our wonderful, wonderful customers and even my esteemed colleagues absolutely adhere to COVID safety protocols and practice social distancing, mask wearing, and all of that other fun stuff.
And respect.
Because everyone cares about their fellow human.
That's right.
Yeah,
Everyone.
everyone.
Especially
Speaking of being fed up with dealing with people in my work life, I'm off work for the next 9 days now,
wow. What are you even gonna do with yourself?
and I didn't even need to get COVID to do it.
Holy shit. How did that even happen?
I just booked the time off. I booked it off months ago, and I picked the date because at 9 p.m. Listeners, at the time of recording, this is we're recording on Thursday in the early evening on Thursday, May 13th. And at 9 p.m. tonight, the Mass Effect Legendary Collection pre-order of mine is going to be unlocking.
Oh shit.
Last week it was Resident Evil Village. This week it's Mass Effect, baby.
So that's why you booked this week, these 9 days off.
That is why. I was
All these
originally
video games.
I was originally going to book the week following like this past week, the week following Resident Evil Village's release, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get through that game in like probably like 6 to 10 hours. I could do that on the weekend. The Mass Effect Legendary Collection, though, that is like 3 like 35-hour long games all
That's
in one package.
longer if you want to explore and get all the achievements and
Yeah.
yeah.
I was fairly a completionist in my playthroughs of those games back in the day, and I still think I got through them on my first playthrough in like maybe 35 to 40 hours.
Yeah, actually you're right. I
Yeah.
remember oh man. I'm not looking forward to the probe mini game of Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Do you remember
Thousands of probes.
going to the Sol system and firing a probe at Uranus?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the ship's computer, Edie,
Is
as
like
voiced
really Commander Shepard or something like that.
as voiced by Trisha Helfer from Battlestar Galactica. When you go to press the button to launch probe, nothing will launch, and she'll be like, "Really, Commander?" And if you press it again, it'll launch, and she'll say, "Probing Uranus."
Oh, she does.
Yeah, probing Uranus. Oh, it's such a dumb thing, but it made me chuckle back in 2010.
If you I don't know if you take the Mako onto it or if you're just like probing it. No, I think it's the Mako, but in certain places on the surface of the moon, um, Earth's moon, you
Yeah.
can pick up like weird radio transmissions.
Hmm. So this would be in
Um,
Mass Effect 1, yes. Because there is no Mako in Mass Effect 2.
one or so what are those arachnids that like everyone united to fight against?
The Rachni.
The Rachni. I think they're like weird psychic like Rachni transmissions or
Hmm.
something. I need to replay them. If I find like a YouTube video of it, I'll send it to you.
Well,
Man, those are really good.
there is a handy dandy next gen remastered trilogy
I
of
know.
trilogy collection of those games
I'm
coming out.
tempted. I'm tempted. Part of me wants to make my partner play through them. Like I'll like watch and they play through them so they get to experience them in order, the whole story.
Yeah. The the way it was meant to be played.
I found moving from the very RPG like sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. It was one of those fake ones. Moving from the very RPG like game of Mass Effect 1 to the hiding behind cover, very limited amount of abilities into Mass Effect 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like jarringly difficult to transition to
Mm,
because I liked the if you balanced your powers right in Mass Effect 1, I mean you didn't even really need to fire a gun because all the different powers that you had separate cooldowns.
right. Yeah.
So you could play an engineer slash psychic, which are called I can't remember that cross class, or like an adept and just bounce your different abilities off them. Um, and it made that really interesting. And different people like there was like a lock pick type thing, which was like encryption or something. So it's like, oh, do I bring
Yeah.
somebody with encryption on this mission? Are there going to be like locked containers? So I had like somebody that could like unlock things, and I had somebody that could like provide backup and debuffs, and it felt I liked it. Other people that went from Mass Effect 2 or 3 to 1 thought it was janky
Mm,
and didn't play really well. But like when I went to Mass Effect 2 and it became Gears of War, where you like hug walls and like pop up and shoot and pop up and shoot,
it
and you
became
use
a
like
shitty
one
Gears of War too. I'm just gonna say
yeah, it,
it.
the
Those
shooting aspect is not good. And I
no.
was is disenfranchised the right word? No, I was man, I was like I had to restart and just grit my teeth and get through that like 5 times because of how like I don't want to play like a corridor shooter and a bad
Yeah.
one at that. And then when you finally start unlocking powers, you only get like 2 or 3, but like the cooldown for after using a power affects all your other powers. So whether you like it or not, you have to play it like a shooter. I, I
There was
don't I
there was
didn't
this
like that.
phenomenon that occurred in the like early 2010s of taking Western RPGs and like hyper streamlining them.
Yeah, okay.
So, so like Mass Effect to Mass Effect 2 did that. Oblivion
Yes.
to Skyrim did that.
Yeah, became
Fallout
much less. Yeah.
Fallout 3 and New Vegas to Fallout 4 did that. And I'm like
Oh, that explains why I
and I'm
didn't like.
like I kind of miss that like old school like RPG feel of like Dragon Age Origins or like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. It's one of
Wow,
the
very
reasons why I
interesting.
kind of latched onto
Rip in peace.
rip in peace, Dinobot. It's one of the reasons why I actually kind of latched onto Greedfall a couple of years ago, or last
I
year was
have
it?
that in my library because of like a PlayStation Plus thing.
Yeah,
Is it good?
it's good. Like it feels like playing a game. It feels like playing a art like an old school like 2000s RPG like Dragon Age. Not in
I'm
terms of its
gonna get them.
setting, but like in terms of its gameplay mechanics and everything, it feels very of that era. I didn't finish it because I got sidetracked with something else, but I keep meaning to go back to it.
A different game or a project or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a number. Like if you get away from a game for a week, that week turns into 2 and then 3, and then you it's hard to get back into it.
Yeah. Then you'll load
For
up
me,
your save. You'll load up your save file and be like, "Oh God, my last save was 2 years ago," and you have like you don't remember like anything about what's going on in the game, and you're like, "Huh, maybe I should start over." But,
but I'm 30 hours
yeah,
in.
exactly, I was gonna say, but I'm already like 30 hours in, and do I really want to play those 30 hours all over again? No, not really.
For me,
I did that with Dragon Age Inquisition several times.
oh,
Yeah.
where you came back after like months or longer.
Yeah, and then I did actually restart it a couple of times, and then I'd get like maybe 20 hours in. I don't know what it was, but like Dragon Age
It's
Inquisition, like
bad.
it won
It's
like so
bad.
many. It's funny because it won like so many Game of the Year awards and everything in 2014, but like I couldn't even finish it. And like,
A lot of people couldn't.
well, and what's funny too is like listening to gaming podcasts now, where they'll talk about like BioWare's fall from grace and everything like that, and they'll mention Dragon Age Inquisition, but it's like this game was getting at like nines and tens when it came out, and like IGN even gave it like Game of the Year that year.
Did nothing else come out that year. Here's
It's
the
so
problem with
weird.
that game. It has, for some reason,
It
the
uses
devs were
it
like,
uses Battlefield's engine.
for some, I did not know that.
It does, yeah.
For some reason, they were like, you know what our single player RPG needs? MMO levels of grinding
Yeah. That's
and
probably
fetch
why I
quests.
couldn't get through it.
Like, make like 75% of the side quests in the game fetch quests. Oh, and even better, make some of the bosses so difficult that you can't beat them unless you force them to do all these fetch quests. And
Mm.
it's like every single person I've spoken to about it says it feels like MMO grinding. And I'm like, but that's not what any of the other Dragon Age games are like, which is a shame. I'm sure it's the story is great, but like I can't get more than like 10 hours into it. Again, I have it. I just can't do it.
I own it on
Can't
two
do it, man.
platforms.
The character creator is amazing though. I've made like 5 characters just to take screenshots of them.
Yeah, yeah. Dragon Age Origins I played through so many times back when it came out. Like I played and like continuous playthroughs. So like when I would finish, and I don't do this very often, but like as soon as I would finish the game, I would just start up a new file with a new character.
Oh wow.
And yeah, I played through Dragon Age Origins probably like no word of lie, like probably like a dozen times. And that game, if you do everything, is about like 60 hours long.
The only game where I've finished and like immediately restarted was um near Automata.
Hmm. Yeah, you've talked about that game before.
Yeah. Where I'm like, huh, cool. And I like immediately like start all over, which is can be intimidating for some people to like drop like 40, 50 levels or like whatever you're doing and then start from level 1 and go through it again, but
I
what are
did
you going to
that
do, man?
I did that with Infamous on PS3 back in the day because I was really
Hmm.
into that game. And I did that with Resident Evil 7 a few years ago. I actually played through
Oh
it like
wow.
5 times continuously.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was really into 7 when it first came out. And now,
Are
weirdly
there
enough, like I can't go
mul-
back to it. I keep trying, but like I just can't get into it
do
anymore.
you
I
think you
think,
just played it too much?
yeah, I think I burned myself out on it when it first came out.
Are there like multiple branching like ways of interacting with certain things?
No.
No, there aren't. Because I know that I've seen people beat that garage scene with the car different ways. But
Mm.
outside of that, I guess there's not a lot of
There's an achievement
ways to
for
approach
beating
it.
the game in under, I think it's under 3.5 hours, and I ended up getting it.
Wow. On which playthrough?
I think like my fourth. Just and like I said, I was playing like these were just like continuous playthroughs. So by that point, I just knew where everything was and like the quickest way to get through each area and
Also, you
yada
didn't
yada.
even have to look at a guide
Nah,
to get that achievement.
I don't need no guides, bro.
The guides are all in here.
The walkthrough's
And
up here, man.
Oh, I got all the achievements for Near as
Oh,
well,
nice.
which is another level of game to that game. I'll just leave it at that. Like secret fucking bosses and
That's.
weird. It's a Japanese
I was gonna say that's.
RPG.
I was gonna say that's some JRPG bullshit right there.
Yeah.
I've played Final Fantasy VII. I fought the weapons.
Yoko Taro is the director of the Nier games, and have you ever Googled him?
No.
He's the guy that like wears a mask in interviews in public, so people can't see. It's not so people don't know what he looks like. It's I don't know. If you're bored, Google listeners, Google I already forgot his name. Yoko Taro. And he wears a weird mask and he does weird things on camera. I'll just leave it at that.
You know what else does weird things on camera?
So,
Cyber Raptors.
Cyber Raptors.
They fucking eye laser on camera. So we're gonna get into the episode real soon here, but first, here's a word about our Patreon.
Do you like 90s animation?
I do.
Do you have $2 burning a hole in your pocket?
I do. Wait, no, I'm broke right now.
Do you want to listen to three grown men talk about 90s cartoons like it was yesterday?
I know I do.
I mean, I'm already doing that, so why would I want to listen to someone else do it?
Dude, you're supposed to say yes. Give us money.
All you need to do is subscribe to the Lasercomb Patreon. For $2 a month, you get access to our Discord channel, which is where we record all of these fine shows. And you also get our eternal gratitude. Isn't that the greatest gift of all?
Besides money,
Besides money,
which is
what
a
we
gift
want.
to us.
It's a very good gift.
I'm sure Christopher can salvage something out of this.
So this is episode 39 of Too Much Energon, and this week we are talking about the fourth episode of the third season of Beast Wars, Cutting Edge. It was written by Ian Weir, who wrote some damn good episodes of Beast Wars. He wrote Dark Designs, the Evil Rhinox episode, which was a good one. He wrote Possession, the Starscream episode, which is one of my favorite episodes of the series. And he wrote Code of Hero, which is everyone else's favorite episode of the series. And now he's writing about cyber raptors with eye lasers.
They have fucking eye lasers. Man.
And I didn't realize until I saw this episode a few days ago, like how much I actually missed eye lasers in this show.
Yeah, I felt. I'm like, fuck, is everybody that shot eye lasers dead?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we saw Waspinator use them in one episode, but he hasn't used them since.
Is it only one?
Yeah, he used eye lasers in, I think it was the episode that introduced Tygatron. He was trying to, like, cut into the stasis pod, and he was using eye lasers.
Oh, he's never used them in combat?
I don't think so.
Yet, your memory would be better. Shit, I just took it for granted. Yeah, no, he's always firing his little, like, stinger gun.
Yeah, Stinger, yeah.
Fuck, get on that, man. He didn't even use it in battle. He used... Oh, you're right. Yeah, he was, like, trying to burn his way into the stasis pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So this episode opens with some proto-humans walking through the forest, and we see our old pal Axe Ape.
Axe Ape in the flesh.
Yeah, the guy who at the
With
end of
its
Code
high
of
rendered.
Hero was like,
This.
yeah, who like
Ah!
killed the fuck out of a snake with his little like stone axe thing.
It's great.
Uh,
Which
eh, eh,
Dinobot made.
yes, which Dinobot made, and things are kind of coming full circle because a fucking cyber raptor shows up and attacks the proto-humans, starts chasing them down. Now this is like a silver, like muscular as fuck velociraptor with like mechanical legs, glowing red eyes, and it's got this like what looks like a cylinder on its back that
Some sort of glowing
yeah,
thing.
it's kind of cylindrical, so it looks like, I don't know, some kind of containment unit or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's fucking eye lasering the proto humans, and I'm like,
I think
yes,
he takes
eye
one of
lasers
them
are
out.
back.
He takes like an old one out.
Mm.
But yeah, eye
Well, he's
lasers
gonna
are
die
back,
soon
folks.
anyway.
Uh, that's one way to look at it. He had nothing of value to contribute to the tribe.
Yeah. So Optimal Optimus and Silverbolt show up, and Optimal Optimus is in his like jet mode, and he does something here that I hate. In
Uh-oh.
his jet mode, one of his like what is one of his arms in robot mode actually like points down and his fingers emerge, and he's like, protect those children. I don't like an arm when he's supposed to be in jet mode. I don't like his arm like moving around independently.
Oh, it's weird because he doesn't have a face in this mode.
Yeah,
Like he looks like a jet. Yeah, okay, I see.
I don't like the concept of a jet like having a limb that moves
Because
independently.
he's a jet. You know what? There was some weird, uncanny thing that I didn't like about his jet mode, and I think that touched on it. You can't see his face, right? It has like the clear cockpit kind of area that used
Yeah,
to house um, Optimus Prime's Spark, but
yeah,
it's like the cockpit of the jet area. But he has like ape-like talons and feet in the back of the jet, and the wings of the jet are like his arms. So when he's flying away and you see his feet shooting the thrusters, it looks weird. And when he's in
yeah.
jet mode and then his hands move and a disembodied voice is like, protect those children. That's it. It's weird for a jet to have feet and hands.
Yes, it's weird. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I couldn't place it though. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, quick I was gonna say quick strike. Silverbolt like gets his ass shot out of the air by eye lasers
yeah,
like a bitch. And it's basically maximal maneuver number 2. Hit a Predacon against a pillar and make the rock on top fall off and crush them. Because that's what happens here.
yeah. I'm really like
That's like the 9th or 10th time it's happened. Like
this show has really opened my eyes to cost cutting maneuvers in animation.
right, because you don't need to show an altered um 3D model of a raptor being destroyed if it's just buried under a rock.
Yeah. And
Right?
it's like we already have it like built into our like animation engine for like a rock to fall on something. Like we can do that easily. We've done it several times before.
Rocks are more deadly on this show than like any missiles or
That's
lasers
true.
by far. Rocks provide the best cover. Rocks provide the best weapon.
Yeah.
Even in Code of Hero, like Dinobot defeated Tarantulas by by shooting at a rock that fell on him. So like maybe these proto-humans are on to something with their stone axes.
Speaking of proto-humans, we get to meet these like two annoying little children.
I think
Uh,
they're cute and adorable.
I find their faces horrifying.
Oh, their faces are horrifying. They have
The
gigantic eyes.
the girl looks like the girl gremlin in Gremlins 2.
I can see that. Minus all the makeup. Yeah,
Minus all the makeup, yeah.
I can see that.
With like the big eyes and like the weird shaped jaw and like the giant like wide mouth with like the absurdly large lips.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Female gremlin.
uh,
I think that what was that Gremlins 2?
those
Yeah.
Gremlins too, yeah.
Um it's
God,
funny
how did
because
that
they
movie ever get made?
oh no.
Like that movie is like a straight up like the first film is like kind of a like PG horror Christmas film. Um,
Yeah.
it's like YA horror. It's
Yeah.
Spielberg horror.
Yeah.
But then the sequel is this like completely like bananas satire.
It's pretty bananas and pretty like there's one after that too, isn't there?
Nope.
No, no, I'm thinking of something else. Oh, I'm thinking
There
of
it
Critters. There's like
there
3 Critters movies.
there is a prequel coming out on HBO Max though. I think it's called Mogwai.
For real?
Yeah, legit.
They're really pulling deep from the well
Yeah, it's
lately. Huh?
like I don't know
The
who was
film that
asking
no
for
one
that,
asked
but
for. Were you
the
sitting around and going, "Where's my Gremlins in 2020s?"
the
Ask
origin
no
of
further.
the origin of the old man whose name no one remembers that sold Danny Gizmo in the first Gremlins film. It's literally what that show is about. It's about that old man when he was young raising
Oh,
Gizmo.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're trying to get in on that baby Groot, baby Yoda, like cute little thing hype that's
Yeah.
happened over like for am I the only one that doesn't like baby Groot? Or doesn't
Uh
think like baby Yoda is like the coolest fucking thing ever?
I'm not a fan.
I have like 3 friends with like baby Yoda tattoos.
You know what I hate is that people call it Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And I'm not
I
like
understand. They don't know what the race is called, but
I am not even a Star Wars fan. I've gone on record saying like I kind of casually like Star Wars, but its fan base really pushes me off of it. And
uh-huh.
I think most Star Wars in general is kind of a mixed bag, save for a few of the movies. Um,
Yep.
even
If
I recognize,
Christopher's here in the fandom, and this is a 10, and like this, I'm actually like doing a scale for an audio listeners.
yeah,
Christopher's maybe like a 5. I think I'm like 3.5. Like anything bad Christopher said, I've said worse about Star Wars.
so, but even me, like, I'm like, okay, The Mandalorian is set after the Return of the Jedi, and we have
Mhm.
this like baby of whatever this race is called. It's obviously not Yoda because Yoda was so old in Empire Strikes Back that he died of old
He
age.
literally died of old age.
Yeah,
The only thing keeping him alive was knowing that he would need to give Luke some guidance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even me, being someone who largely doesn't really give a shit about that franchise, I'm like, it is not Yoda. It is not Baby Yoda. It is a thing that is of the same race as Yoda.
Of the same race as Yoda. So keep in mind, even though you're saying you're not like the biggest fan, the majority of people that are all over that are filthy casuals, right?
Yeah.
For example,
So what?
this is a tangent. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna be like, so what does that make me? Because I feel like most Star Wars fans would call me a filthy casual or
A
a
cle-
non-fan.
a enjoyer of some Star Wars. A non-filthy casual, a bathed casual, if you will, a hygienic casual.
I do occasionally partake in a Star War.
A Star War or two. I have been known to play a Star War game or two. Uh, Speaking of games that are hard to like come back to if you haven't played, I really liked The Force Awakens.
Hmm.
But with any memorization of combo games, if you take like a month or two off and come back, like Devil May Cry, Force Awakens, Bayonetta, you don't have like the muscle memory for the combos and stuff. And you're like, God, I don't remember this being hard. But what you were saying is, why are people calling it Baby Yoda? And it just like stuck, right? Do you remember Bowsette being a thing? Your eyes roll back into the back of your head and you turn into the Undertaker.
Yeah, yeah. For the audio listeners of the show, I just like Omega level eye rolled.
Yeah. So, um, Toadette, right, can get a certain hat, a crown, in one of the Mario games, right?
Okay,
And when she does it, she turns into like a princess, like a very like Peach, right? Like Princess Toadstool. And she's referred to as Peachette, I think, right? But that's
okay,
because she's Toadette looking like Peach, right? So if someone else were to wear the crown, that's how the fan art wave happened, right? If Bowser was to wear the crown, he would become like Peach. If Mario was to wear the crown, he'd become like Peach, right? But because Toadette was Peachette, right? Then if Bowser wore it to become like Peach, he'd be like Bowser, right? Or Mario would be like Meech or Marich or something, right? It's a play on their name. But everybody's like, haha, Peachette. Just add et to something and it becomes effeminate. So like there was Luigi-et and Boo-et and Bowsette and Koopa-et and all the ets. And a little part of me, the little nitpicky part of me was like, it wouldn't be Bowsette. It would be like Bowser.
yeah,
Little nitpicky thing about that. So it's the same thing with Baby Yoda. It's like,
yeah.
well, this isn't Baby Yoda. Technically, it shouldn't be Bowsette, but like the masses taking over something get to define what something is called, unfortunately. And so all the moms with their kids jumping into Star Wars for the first time, watching The Mandalorian, they're like, "Oh, look, Baby Yoda. I know what Yoda looks like." That's clearly
Yeah,
Baby Yoda. So when they find out that it's not indeed, um, maybe jump ahead 30 seconds because I'm. Do you care if I spoil Mandalorian?
I've seen it all.
Oh, okay, so jump
So
ahead 30 seconds from
for
now.
the
Anyone listening?
for the listeners, if you haven't finished The Mandalorian
Jump
season
ahead.
2, jump ahead.
Yeah, 60 seconds. So I'll make this quick. Um, young Luke appears, right?
Yeah.
And makes a big ass entrance, and everybody's like, "Oh, the amount of people on Twitter that freaked out and they were like, how's that possible? Baby Yoda. Like they don't understand the
Oh,
timeline,
really?
even though yeah, even
Wow.
though it's been firmly established. So they're
Wow.
like, isn't he die? He die in movie. He should or he should be old. Right? Because they they're not thinking about how the timeline works.
Like they even go to Endor in one of those episodes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
God.
So the masses dictate what things are called.
Yep.
Like what's the ship of Cheetor and Black Arachnia called? What's their like
Is
early
there one?
2000s? There is now for me.
Somebody out there
Cheetor and
draw
Black
that and
Arachnia.
tweet about it.
Black Tor.
Black or
Um cheat cheat
Cheetorachnia.
Cheetorachnia. We're not gonna get better than that.
Hey,
Anyways,
this
I'm a
week
fan of
last
Cheetorachnia.
week I was coining Andrenzo. This week I'm coining Cheetorachnia. Like I'm on
Yeah,
fire with this
there,
shit.
there you go.
Yeah,
Well, that's
speaking
what
of being
happens
on
here.
fire, let's go back to eye lasers.
Yeah. Well, I think we lead to the first Cheetorachnia interaction. We've got a little Mogwais running around on the ship,
Yeah. Yeah, and
which
like
apparently they've adopted them.
yeah, apparently. And like Cheetor is like chasing them or something and accidentally tackles Black Arachnia.
Accidentally.
And there's this
He's
weird
like, whoa!
there's
Gets all
this
up in her face.
there's this weird moment, and like this was really common in movies and TV at the time, I found, where like a character would land on top of another one and there would be this
It's a
like
trope.
moment. Yeah. There'd be like this moment where they would be like gaze into each other's eyes. Except she doesn't gaze into his eyes. He gazes into her eyes and is like fumbling his words and shit. And she's all like, "Get off of me."
Yep.
And I'm like,
There's even like
sit
romantic music that plays
I'm like,
while the scene is happening.
since when does Cheetor have a boner for Black Arachnia?
Ah, in the episode where I believe they are saving they're either saving Rhinox or it's some other reason they attacked the dark side. Do you recall there was like a big battle and Black Arachnia pieced out for like an episode or something?
Oh,
But
that was the episode that introduced Black Arachnia. Right. So
oh, it was, yeah.
yeah, they were going to get Rat Trap back, and Black Arachnia, new to the Predacons at this point, her and
Hmm.
Cheetor like have this duel, and she like takes him out and like steps on his face, and she's all like another time.
Hmm.
And like I remember it's all coming back to me now. This God,
Do you
that was
remember
like
me talking about
this
my ship?
that was like 30 episodes of this podcast ago. Literally like 30 episodes. Um I remember saying that like I always thought that like, oh, maybe they had some like her whoever she was originally, her like protoform, like they had some history or something on Cybertron, and it would have been nice if the show had explored that,
Hmm.
but it doesn't. Maybe this is circling back to that now.
All
Two
I
seasons
remember is
later.
that she stepped on his face and he was like, "Harder, mommy." Or did I imagine that? It's basically the same thing.
It's all that
But it's
Resident
all
Evil
coming.
Village hentai.
Yes, that's what it is. Um, and I remembered her stepping on Cheetor's face, and I've been waiting for this moment
Oh, so
a
you're a
long
fan of
time.
this then, is what you're saying.
I'm a fan.
Okay.
Yeah,
So back on the
more to
bridge.
say on that later.
So on the bridge, Optimus is like, "Hey, someone's got to take these kids home. They're wrecking the place. I'm tired of having these damn children running around."
Yeah, tired of
Uh,
these monkeys jumping on the bed. So, Black Arachnia, take them back to their tribe.
you woman, you good with kids?
The argument is, if there are cyber raptors running around, um, Black Arachnia knows like Megatron's intentions and technology the best, so she's best equipped to do it. And when Silverbolt volunteers, he goes, "No, we need you at base, and I can't have you distracted." And Rhinox, I think it is, says something like, um, I just heard an anime villainess laugh. Like,
Shit.
ha ha ha. Uh, what does he say? Oh, we don't have proper scanning for bio create like bio organic life. So it would be impossible to find them from the air.
Mm. That makes no sense, but
Thank you. I was like, I was watching it, and the words from my mouth were, I put my hand out, and I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. You'd be able to find anything easier from the air than you would like on the ground. But something scanners, you have to walk there,
I mean,
I guess.
Silverbolt could have just walked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what Cheetor does, and they see
Yeah. Wait,
they're
this
they're they're watching him walk through like one of the computer monitors, and he's walking with this like dopey ass like hop in his step.
even
He's
Rhinox is like, is it just me, or does he look extra bushy-tailed today?
yeah, and yeah, so they're off on their adventure, and Megatron is aware of this because he is somehow watching this on his crystal ball.
I know that since I've seen it once, I'll see it a million times. Thank you for pointing out the fucking crystal ball thing again. I pointed that out to my partner watching this. I was like, what is he looking at them through?
Have we ever called it the crystal ball before?
No,
Because
that
why haven't we prior to this?
either he has thousands of security cameras set up all across the planet, or he has a magic fucking crystal ball.
Well, and like his like computer like viewing screen thing is literally like it's a sphere. It's a crystal ball. That's its name for the
It's a
rest of the
crystal
series.
ball.
It's Megatron's crystal ball. I regret that we didn't come up with this like 30 episodes ago.
For anyone listening that is like, what the fuck are they talking about? There's there's this magic effect where the viewer watching the screen will suddenly zoom out of a monitor, and the particularly only when Megatron's watching a screen. I don't think it's really done it for the Maximals, has it?
Not really,
It's
no.
mostly Megatron, and it'll zoom out, and there will just be a video of what the Maximals are like getting up to. But like there was no drone, there was no
Yeah.
camera. They can be in the middle of a jungle, and Megatron will just be like, "Oh yes, all according to plan." And it took us a long time to even question why that was dumb. But when we did pick up on that, we were like, "What the fuck is he looking at them with?" And now we can't unsee it. So Chris, I think that's an apt description. It's a crystal ball.
uh,
He's fucking David Bowie from the Labyrinth.
uh, so Cyber Raptors attack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Cyber
Cyber
Raptors
Raptors
attack
attack.
Cheetor and Black Arachnia and the kids, and the Cyber Raptors are kicking Cheetor's fucking ass. So
They
it's
know how to
like,
use their lasers.
yeah, so it like eye lasers Cheetor, and like Cheetor like jumps into the air and like transforms into
Check this move out, says some Cheetor bullshit.
yeah, he jumps into the air and like transforms into robot mode to like do his like hand mouth together laser, but like he gets taken out as like in the middle of doing this by another blast of fucking eye lasers from this
So
Cyber
the
Raptor.
Cheetor blast only stuns the Cyber Raptor, but the Cyber Raptor's laser eyes him, hit Cheetor mid-air,
Yeah,
and he goes flying off a cliff.
yeah.
There's one small touching moment where before this where Cheetor was flying around with the boy proto-human, giving him like a ride, and the little girl hollows out a coconut and wears it like a helmet
Oh
to like
yeah, yeah.
imitate Black Arachne, and Cheetor's like, "Oh, look, she thinks you're cool." And I think Cheetor's like, "You know who else thinks you're cool?" And she's like, "Watch it," or something like that.
Oh god.
It's cheesy and I love it. But yeah, you were saying it's just Black Arachnia and the two kids like up in a tree.
Yeah.
And she's kind of like, should I make like a spider and get the fuck out of here? Or play stupid hero and save these damn little brats?
And
And so she saves them.
there's actually a pretty cool shot because the kids were up in the tree. She was on the ground down
Yeah.
below. There's this cool shot where she like kind of scoffs and is just like, and she does this like backflip and goes into beast mode and then like grabs them with her web.
Like puts puts a tendril onto the tree and like grabs the kids and flies off the cliff
Yeah.
like a bungee jump and then stops short
Or
right when they hit the ground.
yeah, she leaps into the air, like goes into beast mode, like mid backflip, like shoots a web, like
Spider grabs the kids.
spider grabs the kids, and then like zips
It's
away.
cool animation. It's
Yeah,
really cool. And
yeah,
even the eye lasers go past her as she's like zip lining, bungee jumping over the edge. And it's funny, the Cyberraptor looked over the cliff at them, and they just kind of like look back, and he kind of just like gives up and tries to find a way around. Did it forget that it can shoot eye lasers? It doesn't shoot at them anymore. Maybe it's like a power level thing. Can only shoot like so many lasers per minute.
maybe it needs to recharge.
Yeah,
Or it's like, you know, when you're playing like a video game and you get into like a mounted gun, like laser gun or something like that, and
it has
like
infinite ammo,
it has infinite ammo, but like it
but
overheats eventually, and you have to wait for it to cool down. You can shoot as many
that's
lasers as you want, like up to a point, but then it's like you'll
but then the meter goes turns red and goes boop 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 boop, and then you have to wait for it
yeah.
to restart to
Yeah.
cool down. That's like that's a good point. That is like a universal like video game thing. Like when a machine gun or like a laser turret or something has like an overheat effect.
Yeah.
Weird video game mechanic that like is in every single game.
It's only really been around, I think, for the past like maybe 15 or so years now.
Yeah,
I think the
yeah,
earliest
that
game
feels
that I
like
can
it.
remember that did that was probably Gears of War.
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
have
there
no
was a game
idea.
before that, but that's like the first. Oh no, I think Resident Evil 4 did that.
Is there a Oh.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
maybe I don't know. Anyway,
Anyway, he can't
uh,
shoot eye lasers. He's on cooldown.
yeah. Black Arachne tries to radio for help. Scanners are jammed. She's like, "Oh, three guesses who was behind this," and more crystal ball shit. Megatron is like, "Oh,
I
my
love that.
humble self, indeed."
That line.
and then,
Oh, and Cheetor can't fly away because his jets are injured.
speaking of like that line, Inferno like terror boards in and is like, "The traitoress can now be destroyed, royalty."
What a weird line. I'd rewind it like a couple times. I'm like, what is he saying? He's saying the traitor S.
A female traitor, apparently.
So
I didn't know traitor was a gendered term, but here we are.
Traitoress. You just add s at onto
Or
anything,
at,
and it
yeah.
becomes effeminate. Yeah. So, quick question. Megatron tells Inferno, no, we can't destroy them yet. There's two parts to this plan. And then he goes, Waspinator, Tarantulas, to your mission. And Tarantulas and Waspinator are on terror boards.
Hmm.
Why is Tarantulas here? Am I stupid? Or hasn't Tarantulas been independent for like 10 episodes? More something like that? It's revealed he was a secret, like an operative for
The Tripredicus Council.
and even before that he made his own base and he declared his independence. What the fuck is Tarantulas doing here?
Maybe after the whole thing with Ravage, because like he was working with Ravage, and that's when we found out that he was a Tripredicus agent, and then Ravage aligned himself with Megatron when he found out that Megatron was like following G1 Megatron's plans. Maybe by extension, Tarantulas is now realigned with Megatron.
Uh they skimped on some details
Yeah,
because this is weird to
they
me.
they don't really explain it very much, but also,
Now
have we
if
seen Tarantulas at all this season?
have we? I, I don't,
Yeah. I genuinely don't remember.
well, this episode reminds me of how much I fucking hate him and wish he would die.
Yeah.
Um. So, anyways, here's my headcanon. He is getting something from this, right?
Okay.
Like maybe he has been trying to work on transmetal cloning, but he didn't have the facilities necessary. So he helped Megatron build the Cyber Raptors, and just like Dino Clone, that episode, th- they're part flesh and blood, right? Like they're actually like clones of from like Rap Bingo Dino DNA, but they're part transmetal, right?
Yeah.
Um, maybe there's some like maybe they're working together for some mutual thing, like you said. Maybe after Ravage revealed, whatever, fuck it. Anyways, I thought I was going somewhere with that, but I guess
cry
not.
cry havoc and let's slip the dogs of war. What the fuck?
I actually like face palmed. You know the Picard meme where he like rubs his
Oh yes, I do.
I can't, and the camera is above him and he's like, let loose the the dogs of war. He should have
Okay,
said the raptors of war.
so
Cry
so
havoc
it is
and
a
let loose
lot.
the raptors of war.
It is a line spoken by Mark Antony in Act 3, Scene 1, line 273 of William Shakespeare, Julius Caesar. Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
Yeah, I worked on um I worked on a re-rendition of that in university. And it's a good line. But
Not in this context.
I don't know why, but it made me Picard, full Picard on that. And not only make it so variety. Well, it's revealed that he has three. He just a fresh batch of creepy crawlers. Like, because there's a machine that opens up, like literally over the lava,
Yeah.
and a platform comes out. Um, and like 3 cyber raptors are inside. Reminds me of creepy crawlers. Oh, freshly baked cyber raptors. Yes. And Tarantulas is like, ooh, it lets me field test an amusing little device I've developed, and he pumps the super soaker with purple energy in it.
Yep. So back at Ark Mountain, what the fuck's even going on here?
Rat Trap and Silver. So
Oh, Rat Trap and Silverbolt are like bickering or some shit because Optimus tries to radio Cheetor and Black Arachnia, and Rat Trap says some Rat Trap bullshit, and then Silverbolt gets all defensive. And
I actually like his line.
okay,
He's like
take it away.
he's making fun of her, and Silverbolt. What does he say? Yeah. So Silverbolt is like, she's in danger. I can feel it. And Rat Trap is like, maybe they just decided to take a little break. Fucking laugh. And Silverbolt says, if that innuendo were not beneath my contempt, rodent, you would be required to give satisfaction. And I'm like, that is the most Silverbolt
I'm gonna
he's ever
challenge him to
said.
a fucking duel.
I expected him to take out like a fucking like dueling glove, like a white satin glove that he keeps in his pocket, and just and
I,
indeed,
I, I have offered you a chance to surrender, Mr. Rat Trap, and you have continued to insult my honor. Therefore, I must have satisfaction.
can you imagine being like a rich, like mustachioed, like European back in the
Yes.
day? You have manners, you have okay. And somebody has insulted your honor to the point where you're ready to duel them to the death over it legally?
Yes.
You can? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
would you try to chop off their head?
No.
No. Okay, just in case.
No, I would only cut off their head if I were of the clan MacLeod.
What if you weren't?
Then, well, I would wait and see, like, if I, say, impaled them with a sword and they just fell down and then got up, I'd be like, oh shit. There can be only one.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't just assume, you wouldn't just cut everyone's head off.
I wouldn't just assume, but like if it started becoming clear that hey, this motherfucker is healing, is surviving some shit that he shouldn't be surviving, then all right, off with his head.
Now, I have a. Okay, so we do this often, and I apologize. We always talk about either Metal Gear Solid or Highlander.
Yep.
Let's say medieval Christopher is an immortal, but you
Is
have
that
to
like
die.
medieval Spawn?
Yeah, he's an immortal, like the immortals from the Highlander franchise. But Christopher, you haven't died a violent death yet.
Right.
So you haven't awoken. But if you fight and kill an immortal, you don't absorb their power until you're awoken, correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
But normal people can kill uh immortals in that franchise. They just have to cut their head off.
Yeah, there are groups in the TV show. There's a I can't remember what they're called, but there's a group in the TV show that will take out immortals. They're a group of humans.
It's been forever since I watched that.
Oh,
Anyways,
same. It's been I think the last
anyways,
time I watched that show was in like 2004.
thank you for that thought experiment. I will get back to Beast Wars. Yes, probably been about 2003, 4 for me.
So outside of Ark Mountain, after Optimus and Silverbolt fly away, the Predacons are waiting off to attack, and Quick Strike's like, dang nabbit, I don't want to be waiting around. I want to attack now. Or some shit. And Megatron's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, how about this? I love that. He's like, instead of just sitting around and waiting, how about we blast our way in there and slag everyone? And Megatron, the way it's delivered, like the voice acting in the show is phenomenal. I always talk about that. But he's like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, the way that single line is delivered is great.
We cut back to Cheetah and the two little shits and
The two little
Waspinator,
darlings, beautiful.
Waspinator, Tarantulas, and 3 Cyber Raptors show up and launch an attack.
This intro is pretty scary, like intimidating. Like they turn around and there's like an engine revving and like rumbling,
Yeah.
and the shot cuts to a canyon, and there's trees and there's rocks, and there are 3 cyber raptors running towards the camera, and Waspinator's in the background like catching up, and Tarantulas like flies off a cliff, and he's like riding in between the cyber raptors. I just wanted to point out that is so fucking well animated, and that is so hype.
I think
Like
that
that
shot's
is the
actually
bad
in the
guys.
I think that shot is actually in the intro.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah. And I don't know if he's ever done this before, but Tarantulas in his motorcycle bug form, he shoots missiles out of his insect legs.
His spider cycle form.
Yeah, I've never seen him do that.
No,
Like he
neither
shoots
have
like
I.
proton, like do 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 do, like blasts out of his, like plasma blasts out of his insectoid legs, and I'm like, I've never seen that.
No, neither have I.
Yeah, okay. So it's bad news bears.
Yeah,
It's a
they
cool
exchanged
fight.
some
This is
fire.
really well done.
They exchange some fire. Optimus and Silverbolt show up, and
In the
there's
nick
this
of time.
yeah, in the nick of time. But there's this weird like little bit where Optimus gets shot in the butt with like a like cyber venom thing.
So that was it's transmetal cyber venom.
Oh.
Because normal cyber venom wouldn't work, Christopher.
Okay, so
It's special. It's different than Black Arachnia and and and
Tarantula
and
Man.
Tarantula Man's cyber venom from the other. This is transmetal cyber.
This is Transmetal Formers beasties, okay?
So apparently, we finally, you know how we've always talked about how there's rock, paper, scissors on the show. This person beats this person. Apparently, the only thing that can beat um, Primal is Transmetal Cyber Venom, which completely takes him out of the battle.
And what I was going to point out was he does this weird thing where he goes all big head mode from it.
He's stretching and he's talking like this, and his head like expands and shrinks, and it's very comical. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is big head mode. Yeah.
yeah, it's dumb.
I just noticed during the combat, um, the others, while Primal is incapacitated, the others are still using his body as a shield.
I mean,
Like
why
they're
not,
hiding
right?
behind his legs and arms. Yeah, why not? Because I guess he can't
He's
normally be damaged.
he's like Transmetal tech meets Autobot tech meets the power of the Matrix. I'd be hiding behind that guy too,
Yeah.
even if he was dead.
Well, yeah, it's a good shield. Better than Rock's. Rock's got like what? Like a couple eye lasers or a single missile before they magically turn into dust and you have to run to the next rock.
Yeah. That the maximal maneuver was bound to get an upgrade sometime.
Yeah. There's another. Who
the
else
op-
has like
the optimal maneuver.
the
Yes.
optimal maneuver? Who else has like weird protective transmetal? Oh, depth charge can block shot with his like manta ray wing shield. thing.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Does anything else like block? Didn't for like one episode, didn't like Transmetal Rat Trap have like uses dinky like little shield to like deflect Megatron's like plasma bolts?
Yeah, I think that was in Aftermath when they first became transmetals, and it hasn't been
You're right.
seen or
Yeah.
used since. Yeah.
He hasn't used that little shield even once since. It's funny. I bet you on the show we'll be like, we'll probably see him use that all the time, right? That
I'm
seems
sure
like something we would have said.
I'm sure we said that in that episode, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
So
go back to listen to find out.
for some reason, none of the automated defenses outside of Arc Mountain are operational. The Predacons just shoot them and destroy them. Because like when you said earlier, Quick Strike, Megatron, Inferno, and Rampage are all outside the Arc Mountain base.
Well, you remember a couple of episodes ago where Optimus talked about they were constantly in a defensive position because they didn't really have any kind of advanced security system. That's why, and they couldn't get Teletran 1 to work, and they went to go retrieve Sentinel, but then they didn't end up retrieving Sentinel. And since then, it had nothing's been resolved of that. So they still have no real defensive capabilities.
They have no real defensive capabilities, and it showed at one point it showed Black Arachnia and maybe Cheetor or something a couple episodes back manually in the turret like cockpit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so those were manual turrets.
They dropped a rock on Inferno
instead of using ammo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only bring that up because very shortly auto cannons do magically come online.
Mm.
Well, we'll get to that.
So they
God.
they slam into the doors of Arc Mountain and bust them open. You know how I've talked about before in this show, and I think in Reboot as well. Listeners, we, as you probably know by this point, we have another podcast where we do this, but we talk about Reboot. It's called Alphanumeric. I've mentioned before that like there are lines from these shows that have just stuck out in my mind over the decades, even if I don't remember the episodes themselves.
You remember the line.
I remember the line. So coming up, Quick Strike wants to go in first, and so Megatron sends him in first, and Inferno is like, royalty, why was I not permitted to go in first? And Megatron says, because when dealing with booby traps, always send the boob in first. For whatever fucking reason, that line is like stuck in my mind.
10 out of 10 writing.
For like 20, almost 25 years now.
Oh, you've remembered that the whole time.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
There we
go. Much like in the Low Road, where Black Arachnia asks Megatron, "Why do you always talk to yourself?" And he's like, "I simply have a penchant for intelligent conversation." That was another one of those lines that just stuck in my mind.
Yeah, even though you knew that line, you just didn't remember what episode or probably even season it was from.
Exactly.
That's a good line.
Yeah, same with this one. So yeah, Quick Strike goes in and he gets taken out by some kind of auto defense system that is literally a giant fist that punches him.
What? Is it?
Yes.
One sec. When expecting booby traps. Yeah, it's a giant robotic fist. Some weird robot Home Alone shit going on here. So I guess Quick Strike is out of that battle. What a weird and extremely circumstantial booby trap. Like, what if they walked anywhere else? Whatever.
Well, Quick Strike literally has like stars like flying around his head, so we're
Before he passes out.
before he passes out. So we're not really taking this seriously at this point.
You like the entirety of the future of mankind and the Cybertronians? Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like there should be more at stake, but what you gonna do? In the scene immediately following that, it shows Rhinox pressing some buttons, and he says, "Auto guns online."
I
So
guess
they
they
have
have
auto
auto
guns.
guns.
They're just inside of the cave.
So they have no external defensive capabilities.
That's right.
Okay. So back
There's a gunfight. This time, Predacons are hiding behind rocks.
yeah, but we got a lot of
Oh, right.
shots of like velociraptors eye lasering. I don't know what it
And
is, but
Torrent.
like just the sight of like these fucking raptors running around just like shooting lasers from their eyes,
It's
like
badass.
it looks badass to me. Like,
It fucking looks badass.
does it get more badass than a cyborg velociraptor
It makes me
shooting
wish
fucking
Dinobot
lasers from his eyes?
makes me wish Dinobot in his raptor form could still shoot eye lasers.
May he rest in peace.
Rip in peace. He'll be drinking in the mead halls of Valhalla.
Silicon Valhalla.
Silicon Hala. Silla Hala. Work in progress.
Well, he actually referred to it as Silicon Valhalla in one episode.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which confirmed our belief that he had the long talked about belief that he was believed in a glorious death in combat and
Yeah,
was
he
like a
would,
Viking or a
or
samurai.
a samurai. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Optimus does
So
some more weird big head mode bullshit and like sings to Cheetor. Like,
sings.
yeah, Cheetor comes over to check on him and he starts singing, "There he is, my little guy." It's weird.
Yeah, my little guy. He kind of sounds like Hack and or Slash.
Well, what a
I,
coincidence that is.
but particularly when he's singing, he sounds like this.
Yeah.
So at this point, were both shows on the air?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like Slash singing.
Yeah.
For anybody wondering who the voice of Hack and or Slash is, it is Mainframe Entertainment hires some of the same voice actors, you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, when this
Oh,
aired,
I forgot.
Reboot would have been in season 3 as well, actually.
That's so like both of Alphanumeric and Too Much Energon are almost
They're kind of lining up right now.
weird. So Tarantulas does some shit that makes me wish he would die more, which is he gets the drop on the little kids, the proto-humans, and like cackles in delight as he gets ready to execute them without like hesitation. I understand like, wanting your side to win and all, but like I don't know, it takes a special kind of fucking psychopath to point a gun at kids and cackle in glee. Like
Well,
it's
he's
one
a
thing to take an adult proto-human and hold it hostage like Megatron did, but like cackling while you aim a gun at kids is like pretty fucking up there for me. I mean, he is a psychopath. We've established that, but
yeah.
he's not winning any good guy points for me.
No.
You know who does? Black Arachnia, who jumps in front of the shot.
Yeah, she does her like spider leg machine gun thing. Does she? That's what she does, right?
She leaps out in front and gets shot by Tarantulas.
Oh, okay.
And then Silverbolt tries to shoot Tarantulas with missiles, and Tarantulas just runs and jumps behind some rocks.
I forgot to pause the video, so I'm a little ahead now.
Oh, that's fine. There's a Silverbolt moment where he's like, "Oh, heart of my heart, I saw you were willing to give your life for the children." And she's like, "I fucking slipped, you doorknob."
Oh, I forgot to mention earlier. He when they first show up, he yells, "Arachnia, my soul's delight." Says my soul's delight.
He's a robot. What do you?
Him to not say my soul's delight.
He's got some interesting writing. Are you familiar with the term tsundere?
No.
So I don't know if you want to Google it, but it's a term in anime, Japanese, Tsundere, and it's basically the trope where there's a very hard exterior, like a tough or uncaring like female character,
Mm.
but they actually do care and they don't want other people to think that they do. And that whole like, I wasn't trying to save the kids, I slipped, is very much in that trope. And thinking about back on it now, that is a very common trope, even in like in all cinema, not just
Yeah,
anime
I was gonna
or
say
animation.
not even
The
like limited
term,
to female characters either.
no, not even the whole like, I don't care. I don't care about nothing but myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like that. It's in particular that term is about female characters that actually do like a boy but don't want to let on.
Mm.
Anyways, maybe there's one person like listening who is like, I understood that reference. Moving
uh,
on.
yeah, probably. I'm sure there's got to be at least
Stay,
one.
at least one. Hey, if you have any idea what the fuck I'm talking about, you can leave a comment or let us know. Or if you think I should just shut the fuck up, tell me. Because I won't listen.
Nor
I
should
might.
you. No.
So what's going on here? Oh, are we back at Ark Mountain?
Yeah, some like fighting goes on back and
On
forth,
both
and
sides, back and forth, yeah.
yeah. Um,
Oh,
back
Rhino gets taken out.
back in the uh back in the canyon with the cyber raptors.
Oh, right. Sorry, I don't want to gloss over this point. Yeah,
Okay, so
Christopher's right. There's a back and forth that goes to Ark Mountain. It comes to the canyon. The Maximals are losing on both sides.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, they've all been they've all been taken out, and they're
Optimus's face is gonna be chomped by a cyber raptor.
yeah, Cheetor is like lying like practically unconscious against the side of a rock, and Black Arachne is on the ground, and Cyberraptor is about
I'm
to
so
like
hyped.
fucking is about to like fucking take them out, and then who shows up? Motherfucking Axe Ape. Axe Ape for the win, for the save.
Ape for the fucking win comes out of nowhere on like a rock, screaming, holding fucking what is it, Stormbringer?
Yeah, yeah, Stormbringer. And he fucking leaps onto the back of the Cyberraptor.
Like a man, this is I don't know why, but I'm so fucking hyped for this guy. And he rides him and screams and takes the axe and busts that weird like mechanical component off of its back.
Yeah.
Which
And then they're like the Maximals are like, "Oh, of course. It must be the control unit. Destroy it." And I'm like, "You didn't
no shit.
there's this like glowing like red like
Antenna.
cylinder with an antenna attached to the back of these things. Like, you don't think that taking that out might be its like attacking its weak point for massive damage?
Thank
Like,
you.
come on.
The proto-human had to show you instinctually.
Yeah.
There's like this trope, zombie movies and video games do it, where like everyone's losing. We don't know how to beat the aliens or the zombies or the cyber raptors or whatever it is, right? And then suddenly there's a very obvious weak point. Like in zombie movies and games, it's like, shoot their head. That's where they're weak. And people are like, I never tried that before.
Of course.
How could I? It's fucking even War Planets does that. The
Oh yeah,
drone
shoot the containment unit of the
giant
null drones. Yeah,
fucking,
yeah,
like moon shape, the crescent on their chest.
yeah.
I don't know what that trope is called. I'm sure it has a name, but like
It's probably just called shoot them in the head.
that's a good one. Shoot them in the head.
Yeah.
There's a parody. I can't remember, one of those like scary movies or something stupid like that. Where one of them like shoots one of the, you know how there's like 7 scary movies and they just got ridiculous.
I mean, they kind of
Um,
started ridiculous, but yeah. And then there was
yeah,
all those spin-offs like fucking Date Movie and Epic Movie and
there was one I
Superhero
actually
Movie.
thought was really good called Not Another Teen Movie.
Well,
And it has
that's unrelated to that series.
yes, that particular series, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the era of spoof movies, and in one of them like shoots one of the little aliens, like the giant headed aliens in the head, and it's like, oh, shoot them in! I found the source of their weak point. They're powerless without their heads. Oh, he chops one of their heads off or something like that. So I think everyone is quite aware of that trope. How do you feel about that trope? Right before we continue Axe Apes Rampage, is your film student, and like, is that acceptable, or is it like beating a dead horse?
Um, I don't mean to underwhelm you, but I've actually never really thought of it before.
It's always painful for me whenever that trope comes up,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I found their weak point, shoot them in the brain, and like all of humanity has collapsed, and it's like 20 years into this dystopian like future, and like finally one dude figures out you have to shoot them in the brain.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
always a little cringe for me.
I did point it out in this episode, so yeah.
Yeah. It's never acceptable is what I'm trying to say. It can be comical, but I'm never amused.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Um,
so they take a note out of Axe Apes
playbook
combat.
and his art of war, if you will. And they start attacking the glowing cylinders, and they take out the all the other cyber raptors. One of them kind of like wigs out and like leaps up on, and I think like knocks Waspinator out of the air.
Knocks him out of the air and then stomps him before exploding. Which also happens to Tarantulas right after. Blackarachnia shoots a cyber raptor. It starts hopping up and down, like losing its shit, and hops onto Tarantulas and takes him out before exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're back at
Yeah,
Ark Mountain.
back at Ark Mountain. Sorry,
Megatron says, sorry, go
I,
ahead.
I gotta apologize. There's something going on around me that's like really, really, really distracting me.
Oh, that's okay. If you need to, do you need to take
Uh,
a
no.
minute?
Let's just
Okay.
wrap things up.
Okay. There's a line where Megatron says, "The Ark is ours. Prepare to take hostages." And I'm like, Megatron?
Taking hostages? That's a new one.
What for? To hold for who? Take hostages for what? If you take the mountain, you have the Ark. Weird line.
Yeah.
And
Depth charge shows up out of nowhere.
OP depth charge shows up and like single-handedly takes on Inferno, Rampage, and Megatron with ease.
I mean,
I guess he's cooler than the others.
at this point, I'm just grateful that there wasn't another like one-on-one battle between Depth Charge and Rampage that took up like half the episode.
Yep. Yep. So the Maximals triumphantly make Megatron and the others retreat.
Yep. And
Megatron gives up easily, doesn't he?
well, considering he was very sure that he had just won like moments ago, all of a sudden he's like, well, see you later.
There's
Big
one
gulps,
more
huh?
Maximal here.
Big
There's one
gulps,
more
huh?
Maximal.
Cheers. Well, see you later.
Bye. And depth charge lands and says, "Big Preds are my specialty." And I'm like, honey, what?
No need to be a size queen here, sister.
What? Okay. I you said, I think it was a couple episodes ago, all of depth charge's lines are like somebody purposefully mocking somebody that's trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
And that is an apt summary because I can't take anything he says seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe the day will come, but today is not that day.
No,
Oh yeah.
I don't think it will.
No. No, okay. I guess I'll painfully wait until the day where I don't have to deal with depth charge anymore. So it's a happy ending. They wave goodbye to the proto-humans, right? And they go away with their dad. I guess Axe Ape was a
Yeah.
relative, or in their tribe at least, right?
Yeah.
And but Axe Ape is walking away, but he doesn't have his axe.
Maybe he is walking away from the battle now that he has his family back. He doesn't need to fight any longer.
Whoa. That's fucking deep. War never changes. I like to think that he was like, and he like gave it to like one of the Maximals.
He gave it to
Like,
Cheetor.
yeah. Oh, I need to draw a Cheetor with the fucking the stone axe now.
So the
But
camera
we probably
pans
never
out
see it
and we pan through back through the Megatron's crystal ball, and Megatron's like my transmetal 2 a modest success, but my transmetal 2 technology works. And I'm like, if we ever needed
Oh no, I
even
turned
more of an indication that this show is designed to sell toys, my Transmetal 2 technology. Transmetal
I didn't
2
catch that.
was a fucking toy line.
I didn't catch that.
Was a
Thank you for
toy line.
pointing that out.
And like it was like the second wave of Transmetal Beast Wars figures where they like gave them even new Transmetal forms that are
They were
even more Transmetal y.
think of Transmetal, but make it even
Too.
better. Too Transmetal.
Too much Transmetals.
How can we get kids to buy these? God damn it. So he says the reason they didn't work, the Cyber Raptors, is because they didn't have a spark. They tried to control them with some sort of like apparatus, but it was too big and clunky. It's their weak point. The Maximals attacked it for massive damage. But if they have a spark, that would be completely different. And as it turns out, I have half a one to spare. And Megatron holds up Rampage's inside of its like Energon crystal vice, and he squeezes it, gives him a little torture. Why not?
Mhm.
And I'm like, what? Is this happening? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens, I guess.
Oh,
That's it.
we forgot to mention Edgy Cheetor.
Oh, fuck. How could I fucking forget this? So there's an intimate moment with Black Arachnia and Cheetor, and she's like, hey, you're a really nice kid. And then Silverbolt walks up. I love this love triangle, by the way.
Yeah.
The second time watching it made me appreciate it more. And he just kind of watches, and she's like, and that's a second strike for you. And I'm like, what was she going to say? And she like walks away, and as Silverbolt and like Black Arachne are walking away, Silverbolt like glares over his um shoulder and kind of like puts his wing out to like block Cheetor from staring at Black Arachne as they walk away.
Yeah.
And the line is fucking
You
great.
don't get to look at her ass today, good sir.
Yeah, so Black Arachne was saying, so don't go looking for strike 3. Okay. And I think you're right. He's like, you don't get to look at my girlfriend's ass, kid. But Cheetor under his breath says, I'm not a kid. And what's the line here? Oh, and maybe I'm not so nice either. And I'm like, we get a Dark Cheetor arc.
Oh
Ooh,
boy.
oh boy. This is see, Christopher's excited for the Cyber Raptors. I'm like, love triangle, edgy Cheetor like arc. I can't fucking wait. Can't wait. Stoked for it.
Yep. I actually kind of remember the next episode, so the show may deliver. It may
So he
not.
starts like, you know, paints his nails like black, puts on some guy liner, grows his hair, dyes his hair black.
Has a poster of the Cure above his bed.
Are you me? I may or may not actually. I have a poster of the Cure in my bedroom.
Oh, sweet. If you did, cool. So that was Cutting Edge. Here on Too Much Energon, we rate episodes on the Too Much Energon scale, which ranges from not enough Energon to sufficient Energon to too much Energon. It's basically bad, okay, good.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Cal, what you giving Cutting Edge?
Yeah. I could make an argument for either three of those ratings.
I think so could I.
Do you know what I mean? Like on a surface level, I'm like, eh. But then part of me is like, well, no, introduce some new things and relationships, but like it's a throwaway, but like
It's such a
there's a
throwaway
battle, but none
episode.
of the battles matter. But then you're like, oh, well, there's like a love triangle and there's an edgy arc, so that's sufficient. But then there's Axape. I
And then it's clearly setting up the next couple episodes.
and and they're the Raptors have eye lasers, man. And Axape fucking like jumps and he's just a flesh and blood. He's a fucking Axape. He's using a stone weapon and he took that down literally. I
uh,
just I kind of don't know. This is kind of the only time I've ever thought it could be any of the three. I'm not I'm not even kidding. Like
yeah.
it's not great, but like there are pretty epic moments and multiple of them. I do you know? Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you have your rating?
Yeah.
Would you like to?
I'm giving it a sufficient Energon. It would definitely be a not enough Energon if not for Cyber Raptors with eye lasers, and Axe Ape. Those make the episode badass for me. But the rest of it, I'm not a fan of. So, the Cyber Raptors and Axe Ape save the episode from getting a failing grade.
They're so scary and like feral. Do you know what I mean? Like they don't act like Transformers; they act like Raptors.
Yeah,
But they're under control of the Predacons. That adds a level of like that makes them a little bit scarier and harder to deal with. Part of me wants to give it a too much Energon because Axe Ape, Cyber Raptors, love triangle that I desperately have been like hoping for. But like yes, I don't think I can. I think that propels it from not enough Energon to a sufficient amount of Energon. So it's getting a sufficient amount of Energon for me.
so
Just
we're up.
because, but for different reasons. I also really liked Love Triangle and Edgy Cheetors. Like, he's gonna watch The Crow a few times and like get edgy and be a bad boy. I can't fucking wait for that. So sufficient amount of Energon from both of us.
All right, so that has been the 4th episode of season 3, Cutting Edge. Best way to support the show: if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. If you're watching on YouTube, give a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, share the episode, or just leave some kind of positive rating wherever you're listening to this. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB.
That's right.
If you want to follow me, you can do so on Twitter at Lasercomb, spelled the same way as the Patreon. You can also
If you
go
just
to
want to follow the show,
if you just want to follow the show, you can go to at Too Much Energon. You can also follow the show's page, facebook.com/Too Much Energon, or the main Lasercomb page, which deals with all of our podcasts, facebook.com/Lasercomb. Cal, you have things.
you want to be if you want to be my 10th follower on Twitter, I repost things that other people from Lasercomb post. Sometimes pictures of ducks. You can follow me at neo_cal with a K.
Yep, do the thing. We will be back next week with a Mega Beast sized episode. The 44th and 45th episode of Beast Wars Feral Scream Part 1 and 2. That'll be episode 40 of Too Much Energon.
Oh, it's a Mega Beast sized one. Interesting.
Yep. 2-parter. So keep an eye out for that. We are running out of time tonight, so we're going to get out of here. I've been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I am your other host, NeoCal.
And until next week, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode.
Beast Wars!